This podcast is brought to you and powered by Embark Solutions. Check it out.
We don't know what to do because I just had this spooky experience, and then right after, we're obviously witnessing something that's paranormal.
That's what's crazy about Jay-Z is that none of those words are real, but they work, and I don't even know why.
If your success is something that's so substantial, so far away, that you may never be able to actually realize it. Like if you want to make $1 million, $5 million, $100 million dollars, in a year or within a couple of years, you got to have smaller wins along the way.
You need some fresh air? Because you about to get a whole lot of it.
Donnie, you're about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. How you feel about that?
Suit up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brandon Wilding,
Yeah.
does having a lot of money mean to you success?
I would go with a hard no on that.
No.
Yeah, because success is different for everybody. If you're, if you haven't been able to find food to eat, food is number one. Food is your form of success. But if you have nothing else to do in life besides rack up, massive amounts of money, that would be your measure of success.
Right.
And I think people who don't have a lot of money, you might look at that and be like, well, of course, money's not your success because you can't get there. And I think it has a lot more to do with your environment than it does actually what you're picking to have your measure of success.
So in a world that puts money first, you're finding things like food, time, experiences, stuff like that.
Yeah, connections I'd add on.
Wouldn't you say that you would need money to have those things?
I think money is an enabling tool. It allows you to be able to have more of those, but it certainly doesn't create them. I mean, you look at like connections with other people, and you can have some really deep, intimate connections that are there regardless of being able to have money. But then money might put you in a position where you meet someone where you get to have deep connectivity with somebody else. I think it is more along the lines of what you're ultimately trying to achieve versus what you're saying is the defining thing of making you successful. Because I mean, for a lot of people, they want money,
Right.
to do those things.
Yeah.
But they think that you have to have money to be happy. Well, when you get to the point where you have a lot of money, you realize money influences but does not create happiness. I think that's why it is not the measure of success.
The term you got to make money to spend money, or you got to make money to spend money, I feel like applies to all of that. Mm-hmm. So Brandon Wilding, entrepreneur, creative director, what else? What else about you? A man who doesn't love money, but clearly needs it, as we all do. But tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Who are you?
Yeah, I work as a marketing director for Embark Solutions. I get our inbound leads. I give them to our call center here. Got into marketing because of the creative field that I've worked in. You and I have worked in, positions here and there together on different elements. Love photography, love video work. Photography is probably my biggest passion. Outdoor photography, sports photography, stuff like that. And got into that from blue collar work, just working hard, digging holes.
I remember when, so Brandon and I grew up around in the same area. We had a wildfire happen and lots of volunteers happening. Not only is Brandon a volunteer fireman, but Brandon was taking photos of the tragedy to get some money from KSL. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm also not a volunteer firefighter.
You were, well, not anymore, right?
No,
you used to do it.
My parents.
It was
they
your
both
parents.
do, yeah.
My bad. But you are integrated into that.
Yeah.
You've been in the
inevitably.
firehouse before.
Yeah, I used to work in the firehouse.
That's probably what it
I felt
was.
like I built the thing.
Well, literally, right?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty new.
Yeah.
Ish, like within our time.
Yeah.
But Brandon was taking photos of the actual event, and that was like the first time I had seen you in like a while. And I think from then on, like, you were on my radar again, and then we started working together, and here we are 7 years later.
Yeah.
7.
Has it been 2018?
But I mean, we've known each other for like over a decade for sure. We even went to high school together.
Yeah.
So there it is. Brandon, very accomplished photographer, videographer, but also dabbled into ads, marketing, stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about that and why all of a sudden you just like it, because I feel like you have to have a certain specific type of mindset to like dive deep into it the way that you have.
Yeah. It started out with, the creative element of life is just where I have a passion just to make something or see something that you've never seen before. That's fantastic. And there's so much, there's so much energy I get from that. But to do that all the time, you need to, it comes back to that question earlier. You do need to eventually make money, and being a broke photographer is very difficult. So inevitably I go into thinking, well, how do I make money doing this? And I start looking at, how does that happen? Well, it's attention. How do I get attention? Social media platforms.
Right.
So I started diving into when I would get attention or when a post would do really well or wouldn't do really well. And I got really into the analytics. And I started understanding there's different levers to pull besides my creative ability. And I eventually found that you can pull a lot more levers to get attention than posting a photo. So that got me into analytics. Analytics got me into finding audience, displaying content to audiences, and that's where I found the money exchange happens. And it applied not just for my photography, but applied for business in general. And so I came into it through the creative field, and I think that also provides me a really unique skill set to be able to craft it and to push it.
Get it in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, before we dive head first into our episode, I got some lightning questions for you. Lightning round.
Shoot.
I'm going to say 2 things. You say the one that comes to your mind. Whatever it might be, will they win in a fight? Do you prefer one over the other? Do you find one more attractive or seductive in your psyche? Whatever it is, don't care. Don't give me the explanations. We'll jump into it after all the questions are answered. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go. Kanye West or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
YouTube or Netflix?
YouTube.
Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Vinyl records or streaming music?
Streaming music.
And the last one, ghosts, are they real or not?
They're real. First-hand account.
First-hand account.
Yeah.
Ghosts are real because Brandon Wilding has a first-hand account. We have to talk about it.
100%.
Or do you not want to?
No,
Is it too?
Let's go. Let's dive.
Let's dive
I'll fight. I'll defend
right
this.
in. Let's dive right in.
You're approaching the drop zone.
I might have to let it drop. Let it drop. I might have to let it drop.
The Drop Zone is powered by Embark Solutions, specializing in helping fiber internet companies build and grow direct sales channels to achieve increased revenue and market share. To learn more, check our links in the description or the show notes below. And if you're enjoying this podcast, be sure to hit pause, give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, or if you're watching, subscribe here on YouTube.
Brandon Wilding, ghosts are real. First-hand account. Tell us a little bit about what you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so I used to be Mormon, used to be LDS, and went on a 2-year mission, like most Mormons do, down to Southern California. It was like probably my 3rd week in, and we had moved into this house that a member had donated to the church, and we were just kind of like, there wasn't any furniture in it, and but it was kind of this weird, eerie house. All the shutters were closed. There wasn't any external light coming into the house.
All right, you're scaring me.
Walk in through the front door, and it's a hallway all the way to the back. So you pass kitchen and living room on each side. Then you pass 2 more rooms, and my room was on the back left. So my companion sitting there, putting the bed together, bunk bed. Yeah, we did do bunk beds. Pretty great. and the doorway's just in my peripheral vision, and I'm standing there, and I see this little girl standing there in a flower dress, and I go, "What?" I'm like, it gives me goosebumps right now just talking about it. And I look, and I'm so startled because I know what I saw. I know there was a girl right there, and
Right.
I talked to my companion, Elder Stevens, and I asked him, did you just see a little girl standing in the doorway just now? And he goes, what? No. And the whole house is pitch black except for our room has light on. And I go, and he goes, no. And right after he says that, we had a gas stove, and the clicker, you know, that goes on by itself. Over in the kitchen, no one else is home.
This is spooky.
And so I step out into the hallway, and we're looking down into the black abyss because, again, all the shutters are shut. There's no street lights. There's nothing else coming to the house. We're looking to the black abyss, and we're like, we don't know what to do because I just had this spooky experience. And then right after, we're obviously witnessing something that's paranormal. Then while we're sitting there, it's about 10 or 15 seconds. Then some of our roommates walk in, and it just stops. They open the front door, they turn on the light, and I am shook. I immediately go over to the stove to see if any of the knobs were half turned, see if they were just kind of like maybe set to click and just went off happenstance. No, they were all locked off.
Oh my gosh.
That wasn't the only thing, but that was the only one.
That's the one that you feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah.
It's spooky season, and I'm shook. That's crazy. Brandon and I have talked about the paranormal a lot. We haven't talked about ghosts very much, other than the fact that Brandon, you might not know this about Brandon, but strong believer of UFOs, aliens, and close encounters of the third kind, whatever that might be. And we butt heads every now and then about that, but we don't talk about ghosts, mainly because I don't have my own personal experience with them. But this is a thought that I had the other day, because I feel like UFOs, aliens are being way more accepted, but recent studies have showed that if it were to come to light that that's true, we have aliens here, they're visiting, it wouldn't change people's life, opposed to learning that ghosts are real, right? Isn't that kind of crazy? Recent studies have showed that people already believe in UFOs.
Really?
Yeah, that there's like, yeah, it's kind of like a shrug. Yeah, cool story. But when it comes to aliens, I mean, we're talking about people's way of life and faith, maybe even when it comes to changing like their complete religion. Who knows? But yeah, it's kind of wild like that.
That is pretty bonkers.
I personally feel like if we were to actually have irrefutable evidence that aliens exist, whether that means them coming down and just like, hey, we're here, we're cool with you guys, which would never happen, by the way. I don't think, even if they were peaceful, I feel like some guy in Idaho would pull a gun on it somehow. But like, I feel like my whole world would shatter in that regard. Because I think it also brings up faith, but then also it's just like, we've just been living in the dark this whole time. Because like, if it like ghosts, sure, big deal to me. I've never seen one. I could maybe become one, but like, aliens can just come hang out now. I don't know. It would change everything that I think of.
Yeah.
Much like AI has changed a lot of my way of thinking.
That's a good one.
We can get into that at a different time, because I feel like that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes to the other questions I asked you, you really struggle with Jay-Z and Kanye West. Why would you do this?
Because I think I personally like Kanye's music better. But
He's so problematic now.
well, he is. I mean, he doesn't really care, and he just goes for it, and that's financially worked out for him
Right.
quite a bit, you know. But I look at Jay-Z, and that guy, evolved. I don't know how he got to where he's at, but he is one of the most shining examples that I can think of taking the opportunity that you're given and optimizing the heck out of it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't list all the things that he owns, but he's got like an NBA team in there.
I know.
I think he's got an MLB team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy is like he's a fantastic example of
Inventor of many words. None of the words. That's what's crazy about Jay-Z is that none of those words are real, but they work, and I don't even know why. It just feels right. His music flows, for me at least. When it comes to Kanye's music, it is good, but like I feel like Jay-Z has always been a constant, whether it's been in entrepreneurial sense, music producing, music creating, all of the above. I think he's just been one constant. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, if I were to look at the two people, if either of them were going to help me understand how to be more impactful and successful, I would definitely sit in a room with Jay-Z.
So how are some ways that you try to find to be more impactful, inspiring, more of a mindset that suits those kind of things that you want to get out in life or in work or whatever it may be?
I would say the first thing that I do is I take after reading or listening to audiobooks. I don't really have the attention span to
Sit down and
read, but audiobooks, because it is one step away from sitting in the room with somebody. You're hearing their curated version of the best idea that they had, and for me, that is a resource that is, I think, so overlooked. You can go to anybody, either have a biography or a how-to manual, essentially, on how to do something that's impactful, and they're usually at the top of their game, and at the top of their industry. And if you want to do what they're doing, go figure out their mindset. I mean, like, we go through education and training all over the place, but you have these anomalies who are just crushing it in their field of expertise. Go learn from those people. See what they have to say about what they do, and then use your intellect to figure out how you can start taking steps in that direction.
I'm a big listener of audiobooks myself, mainly because, much like you, attention span, I need to be doing. If I need to get anything done, I'll be listening to something, whether it be music or something productive, such as a book or a podcast or something like that. And listening to books, which you've recommended a few to me that I feel like changed my mindset on a lot of things. But I like how you had said that it's because I feel like a lot of people who read the self-help books or whatever it may be when it comes to like motivating or inspiring, they think this is the way I got to do things now. But really, it's just that individual's best idea put on pages. And it doesn't need to be something you live by. It can be something that you choose to live by and stuff like that. I've listened to a lot of books that have like definitely made it like, this is what I need to be doing. And then I listen to another one that completely conflicts that. Me personally, I feel like books are like audiobooks are the things that I turn to help me kind of like gain a center of not only somebody else's idea, but how I can align my own self with their idea, rather than saying this is the gospel. This is like what I need to be doing. And I feel like for me personally, the way that I find it, and you might agree to this, is just talking to individuals just in your life. Are there any people in your life that you can turn to? And you don't have to like list them by name, but it's just like in relation to you, are there people that you just like can turn to that will give you the advice or the center that you need for whatever your endeavors are?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because you have two facets in life. You have like where you're at and where you would like to be, and the journey to where you want to be. Often you have different relationships develop or deteriorate some degree, so you're kind of moving through change and opportunity almost alone. And so I found the people that have been most influential or impactful to me in what I go through and what I'm trying to accomplish are people who can remind me that the fundamental elements of myself are innate, they're positive, that I have the ability to keep pushing, that I have the ability to keep achieving, and not necessarily telling me that they know how to do what I do and I just need to make a few tweaks because like we're all developing. We're always just moving forward, trying to accomplish the next thing, where it's like another sale, or it's a new source of income, or it's how to, like get more quality out of the time you spend doing something. And I find that the people that I turn to specifically help motivate me to remind me that those things are possible. And they challenge the beliefs that I present to them that conflict with that. And, I tell my story, my tragedy, my hurdle, whatever it is, and they'll just challenge those little pieces for me. Say, hey, well, like you're looking at it like this. That seems like it's going to like keep you from moving forward or obtaining what you want. You got to keep pushing. And those are the kind of people I go after.
Nice. Yeah. People, you've always been that kind of a person for me. I feel like we trust each other enough to like kind of turn to that. So I appreciate you personally, but like I've got my father for that. I've got, and maybe other people do as well. If you do, comment below who you might or not.
Hang tight. Here's a quick word from our friends.
Are you tired of trying to watch your favorite shows and it just keeps buffering, or the internet goes out entirely? And then when you call on a customer service, it's either unhelpful or they try to get you to pay more for a service you already don't like. At Wi-Fi Wise, we make finding the best internet deals in your area straightforward and hassle-free. No upselling, no gimmicks, just honest, accurate information to help you choose the right internet service for you. Visit WiFiWiseUSA.com or click the link in our show notes to find the best internet deals in your area today.
The books that we're listening or reading, this month we're going to be diving into $100 Million Offers, right? By Alex Hormozi.
That's a good one also.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it mainly because like I have my own side hustles and I feel like I need to find ways to convince people to be a part of it. And I feel like that's like specifically helped me in convincing people that, hey, this is something that I'm trying to do. Hey, this is something you can be a part of. It's like, why haven't you already been doing it?
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel about it, about my product or my service or whatever it is. I want them to feel that way. And so it's just language, just like tweaking language, the way that you present it to other people and just pitching them. Like, this is how I feel about it, but not necessarily it's like, this is the best thing that I have in my personal life. This is my midlife crisis that I love, so on, or whatever it may be. Like, rather than making it personal, make it relatable, I think.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Something that in a current book that I'm reading called "Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess." It's this the psychiatrist who's been going through, first of all, identifying how can you figure out if the way that you feel about things has a direct correlation to your actual physical health. So they found out a way between the production of cortisol and then these other elements that they can measure, where you can identify your biological age.
Cortisol.
Your cortisol actually,
which is
it's a stress hormone.
Oh, okay.
They use that to identify your biological age and to find out if for instance, if you're 35, biologically, do you appear 35 or do you appear younger? And so they correlate the stress and your health with that. But one thing that they use to identify the study to measure these results is they wanted to find out that if knowing that you have a problem was worse than experiencing the results of a problem you didn't know you had. And emotionally, your physical health, it actually decreases your health to know that you have a problem for something that you might have been doing to yourself for years.
Interesting.
Now, that's not excluding the effects of the problem that you have. That's just now acknowledging that you have been doing something that's causing you an issue. But if you're able to correct those issues, those toxic thoughts or whatever they are, your quality of life increases, your biological age comes down, And in general, you are healthier than before you knew you had a problem. Which, so to talk about, to like look at these books and this knowledge and like these opportunities that you start to realize you have in front of you, you got to do something about them, or they will make you feel terrible.
Right.
And it's a weird juxtaposition that our biology puts us in, but I think it is one of the defining characteristics that helps us propel forward.
Right. I learned a really interesting study that scientists did some research or whatever on such cortisol levels and such philosophies of kind of like what you're talking about. And it says that everyone in the whole world, it's safe to say that everyone in the whole world from the research that they have done, the 2 years of the pandemic decreased 4 years of everybody's life because of how stressed everybody was, specifically on Gen Z and millennial generations, actually. Not like everybody, but like those two specific generations said that their anxiety levels were induced so much higher. Cortisol levels were much, much higher, making them age more rapidly. So COVID, the pandemic, has essentially killed our generation by 4 years now.
That's funny because you got like the boomers watching Fox News over there, and their cortisol levels have always been the same.
They've always just been leveled out.
Well, I'm old. I'm isolating anyway, so I just get my information from Fox News.
And our generation is just we're getting bombarded from every single turn on social media, on just demands of life, and then to add a pandemic on it. I feel like we have no chance. But here we are making content for the other people to hopefully. I personally hope that these podcasts become inspiring, not only to myself but to others. But I just want to be able to find ways to like figure out creative minds such as yours, or dedicated minds such as yours, and figure out what makes them tick. How can we learn from that, and how can these be people that we turn to when it comes to something that we might need advice or cortisol levels to be dropped just a little bit more, or do we want them high? Is it like cholesterol? Do we want it higher and lower? I can never figure that out, as you can tell. But like the thing with like just being motivated in general, I just want to find some sort of way to get people engaged. How do you learn? How do you find yourself centered? How do you find yourself with a mindset that's clear eyes, full heart, can't lose, right? Before we close it all out, any final thoughts kind of like about what we were talking about, what we were diving in at all for you?
I think coming back to that point that I was talking about in that book, where, becoming aware of a problem actually makes your health worse. I think looking at the opportunities that you have in front of you and seeing where you can connect success to success to success. Because I see it all the time out on the floor with the guys that are on the phones. If they can get a good string, like if I can get a batch of leads that I know that we all know is easy to close, the ones that they used to think were hard to close, they can close at twice the rate, which is crazy. And it makes me think, okay, well, all that we're really dealing with here is a mindset thing. The difference between these guys being able to close at twice the rate is if they can have some successes somewhere else.
Right.
So, look at, coming back full circle to the very beginning. If your success is something that's so substantial, so far away, that you may never be able to actually realize it. Like if you want to make $1 million, $100 million in a year or within a couple of years, you got to have smaller wins along the way.
Yeah.
And make sure that those are happening on purpose, because no one else is going to dish to you a good feeling. You're responsible for that.
I also think small wins could also mean communal wins as well.
Yeah.
Whenever there's more tallies on the board, whether it's from me, from you, from anybody else, like everybody gets a sense of camaraderie and team spirit, and then like kind of rallies off of that as well.
Yeah.
So like be happy for the success of other people. I feel like, especially if they're on your side or you're on theirs. I feel like small wins don't have to necessarily mean for you individually, because with the right mindset, they can be considered your own wins, you know, where credit is due, sure, but also being happy for those who are doing very, very well, succeeding, being creative, creating the things. Because I feel like me as a creative person, I do have a sense of like jealousy when I see something really freaking cool. It's like, I could have done that. Or like even my wife, where she's like, I could have invented that. That's something my wife has always wanted to do, is like invent something that's like super useful. And then anytime we have something really useful, she's like, oh, I could have done that. And I was like, yeah, but babe, we gotta take the wins where we have it now. We're not, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like I do that way more than she does. I'm just coming down on her. I feel like every time I see something that's really cool that I could have created, I sulk a little bit and I'm just like, oh, I could have done that. Other than I can be inspired by that.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with being inspired by that, by something.
Yeah. And I mean, to go along that point, like look at the world and realize just realize how big it is, and that someone can be in your lane doing the thing you want to do, and you can also be there too. I mean, like for our door-to-door teams, how many times has the neighborhood been knocked, but you still have guys that go in and freaking crush it.
Yeah.
And it does not matter if someone's already doing what you're trying to do. Yeah. There are small tech companies that start every day that challenge the big juggernauts. There are people coming up with new phraseology, you know, a different mindset, a different approach, a different product. You can run in the same lane as someone else who's being successful. So if you have a dream that's really close and you can actualize it, take some inspiration from the people who you see are successful at it, and see what you can do to add that to your daily routine or habits, and still chase after it, because like it really is, the opportunity really is always there.
Yeah, true. Well, sweet. Well, thanks for swooping by here at the Drop Zone podcast. Every week, we're trying to drop these out to inspire before you embark on your journey. So thank you so much for tuning in here, and peace out.
It's not the jump you're afraid of. The hell it's not.
You can always stay behind.
I'd like to go home. And I'd like the McRib to be available year-round. Adios, amigo.
Catch you on the flip side.
Let's hit the steel. Hit it.